All right, ladies and gentlemen, so let's talk about Konami. So Konami has obviously Silent Hill 2, the remake that they published and came out with recently, and the game was mired in controversy. And you wonder, why is that? Well, that's because obviously Angela was not exactly the Angela that we knew from the original game. She was obviously changed to look like some sort of TikTok teenager, and all the trauma that she experienced in her life has completely left her face, and people had a big issue with that. A lot of the shills out there were trying to say, well, you just want something to fap to, because that's what they go to, because they don't want to actually have a conversation about the issues at hand. Well, Konami has advertised this game for the modern audience since day one, right? This is true. We've made many videos on it. We made videos on their statements. We made videos on their video marketing. We made videos on everything. Well, apparently Konami's now is in damage control because they're trying to get as many sales from the non-modern audience as they possibly can by trying to hide their involvement with a multitude of different things.
I didn't do nothing.
Bye, Mo.
So according to this post from That Park Place, Konami has apparently deleted a post announcing that the Silent Hill 2 remake was designed for, in fact, the modern audience. And the thing is, they do this all the time because they want to try to make this into a new marketing strategy where they put something out there to try to get backlash, to try to get some sort of, reaction from gamers. And then after the game releases, they're going to delete it and pretend like it never happened and say, no, this game is for everyone. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. The funny thing is, a lot of these people who get hired to run the social media accounts for a company like Konami, right? A company like Konami that all the people who are at the higher up are probably older and don't even use social media. All they want to see is analytical results, right? All they want to see is the impressions being as high as possible. All they want to see is the likes being as high as possible. So when they hire someone like this, the young person who gets hired to run the social media account, all they're going to try to do is manipulate the analytics to make it seem like they're doing a good job. So if they're going to try to put out as many controversial things as possible while trying to mask it as just a normal post, and then what ends up happening is they get the backlash, which results in all the impressions, all the likes, all the retweets, all the comments, and then they could take it to their bosses and say, hey, look, everybody's talking about our game on social media. That's what they do all the time. So anyway, let's get into the post. Konami, the publisher of Bloober Team's upcoming remake of Silent Hill 2, has deleted their post announcing the game was designed for a modern audience. At the end of May, Konami published a post on X that has since been deleted, where it announced, see how Bloober Team devs working on Silent Hill 2 preserved authenticity while adapting a horror classic for modern audiences. Now, I remember this post, which, again, I find hilarious that they deleted it because I think everybody remembers this post, right? This is one of the first posts that they made regarding Silent Hill 2, and it was what started the whole clusterfuck in the first place, because people could see the moment we looked at the trailer that there are certain things that are very, very different from the first game, right? James is not really one of them, although he does act a little bit cucky. I really don't know how else to explain it other than that. But Angela was a big jarring difference from her first game. I'm telling you, she literally looks like a TikTok girl. I'm not kidding. So ultimately, when they change these things, people called it out, and rightfully so. Now, again, I've played the game. Okay, I'm still playing the game. I'm not going to give my full take on it without fully playing the game. But what I will tell you is that it absolutely is a toned down modern audience version of the original. And that's what's bothering me the most, because the atmosphere is there. The music is there, right? The gameplay definitely is there. It's a little bit rubbery with the melee combat, but it's there, right? Everything is there, but then you just don't feel the same horror aspect because things are toned down. It's not as creepy. It's not as bloody. It's just not, it's not there. And then there's certain scenes that are very important for James' overall story arc, and some of them are either completely removed or they're censored so that it's only implied and it's not actually shown. So if people didn't play the original game and didn't know any better, you're not going to get the full context of James' story because you don't see certain, sexual assault scenes and whatnot, especially when it comes to Angela, right? There's a room that's completely removed from the original game game that gave you the story and the actual full context of what trauma she went through. So there's a lot of things that are missing from this game, unfortunately, because they felt like modern audiences couldn't handle the full context. They felt like modern audience, and they said this too. They said that they're going to be toning down the horror aspect of Silent Hill 2 because they felt like modern audiences couldn't handle it. It is a bad fucking thing when a horror developer is saying something like that. It really is not a good look. The post also included a video that featured the game's lead producer, Mr. Glom, stating, "I think the biggest change that we've had was actually how to make the game approachable for the newcomers who have not played the original, but at the same time to retain the familiarity of the game that players remember from 20 years ago." Creative designer and lead director Matuitz Leonard added, "Our goal from the very beginning was to maintain the game's atmosphere while modernizing the gameplay to make it competitive in 2024. Now, again, this particular statement right here doesn't really have to do with modern audiences necessarily. It has to do with the actual gameplay and mechanics and taking it away from the original tank controls to what it is now. So it's nothing to do with the modern audience. But still, at the end of the day, man, this game is definitely missing something, and it's unfortunate because, like I said, the graphics are there, the atmosphere is there, the music is there, but it just misses for some reason. It misses in certain aspects, and it hits in others. It's not a bad game, right? I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you Silent Hill 2 Remake is a bad game. It's not. I think it's a pretty okay game, but I can't recommend it at the full price that they're asking right now, especially since they were asking $79.99 for early access. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. I can't recommend other people to do that. I would probably recommend this game at 50% off. I think that's a pretty good deal and value for what you're getting, especially if you're an original Silent Hill 2 player. Then you definitely should be waiting till this game goes on sale. The video also featured commentary from Barbara Keogh, Bloober Team's senior narrative designer, who explained how the company changed the story. In the remake, the story remains largely the same. However, with the magic of modern technology, we're able to expand on some of the aspects. Yeah, by expanding on the aspects, they mean censoring certain scenes so that you don't get offended. That's what they mean. Senior combat designer Monica Chimura added, "The hardest was designing combat. We wanted to be as faithful as possible to the original game, but we also want players to feel satisfaction while playing. Remember that we need to fit into the horror genre." This post from Konami appeared to confirm suspicions that the game was being injected with DEI agenda by Bloober Team and the video game consultancy Hit Detection, following the redesign of the character Angela that was shown off during the PlayStation State of Play. In May, Mongoloid shared suspicions on X. Bloober Team has hired Sweet Baby Inc. 2.0, Hit Detection, a sensitive consultancy company for Silent Hill 2 Remake, and ESG Konami. Ever wonder why Maria looks so sanitized? Not spoiling the game, but it's over, bros. Pack your things. When they said modern audience, they mean it. Now, again, I don't fully believe this, okay? The game is an okay game, by all standards. It's not a bad game, but it is a bad Silent Hill 2 remake, right? If this game was by itself, it would just be an average horror game, but unfortunately, it is trying to follow the shoes of Silent Hill 2, which makes it more difficult. That's where it gets a little bit muddy for me and other players who have played the original. People were looking for a game that was a remake of the original. What they're getting is a toned-down version of that game. They're getting the modern audience version of that game, and the modern audience stuff comes in a multiple different facets. It's not just about, oh, they made Angela weird looking. You know what I mean? She's not even ugly. She's just weird looking. Her head and her neck are twice the size of the rest of her body. She's super skinny, but for some reason her head is on big head mode. It doesn't make any sense. Like somebody put in a cheat code for her, and her head is massive. So that's more for me what it is. It's not about her being ugly. It's just her being weird looking. But still, they decided to sanitize a lot of the things in the game that, for all intents and purposes, man, should not have been sanitized. And that's the entire point of the conversation. Why are you sanitizing a horror game in 2024, right? Why are you doing that? People who buy Silent Hill 2, they know what they're getting into. Why are you deciding to sanitize it? Because you are trying to determine what we can handle? I think it's ridiculous. Who gave you the right to say we can handle certain images and not? We were able to handle before. Why can't we handle it now? You're essentially admitting that the entire country has become way softer than it ever was. And that is a big, big problem. So for me, the issue is the censorship more than anything. But ultimately, is it a bad game? No. Is it a good Silent Hill 2 remake? Not really. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.